Well, hey, how y'all doing out there this morning? And good morning. Actually woke up feeling pretty sore this morning and stiff and all the weather changes and everything and it's cold, y'all. I've just had this cold for the longest time. And I was a little bit achy and but woke up early and got me some coffee and come in and check my social media like I always do, see what's going on in the digital world and the digital universe and but that's also how I keep up with people and what's going on. And man, I had this literally bunches of comments, especially on my Facebook, after making a video and putting up a few posts about the wall, about Trump's wall down there, and a lot of people feel one way about it very strongly, and other group of people they feel just as strongly about it in just another way. And I think it's just another divisive thing. I have my thoughts about it. The wall itself ain't the point. The point is that some of these people, a bunch of them, matter of fact, and primarily not so much Trump supporters, but just maybe people that lean that way. They for whatever reasons in their life, it's social media. We don't know everybody, and a lot of us are on the same page. Earth. A lot of us are on the same page about having clean water and healthy children and things like that. And then we had this political thing, and so it always leads to fights and. I get involved in it. Hey, don't think I don't. Man, I've been on that Facebook about 10 years for sure, and YouTube about the same amount of time. And if y'all ain't noticed, you'll always get a like from me. I always read your comments. I've learned not to comment back every time. I think that's one of the smartest things I've ever done. I do learn from y'all, and that's why I do this, and that's why the comments are so important to me. I wouldn't bring up such controversial subject matter and so many wild thoughts and so many things outside of the box to think about if I wasn't trying to learn myself. So that part of it's good to me, but the fighting, it gets really bad. And I've been trying to lessen the fighting on here because I want to see social media used more for learning and teaching each other and for communication. I think it's very key since it's used for mass thinking anyway. Maybe some of that group thinking, mass thinking mentality or ideology or philosophy or whatever it is. I think it's kind of creepy. I don't think we should all be thinking the same, but maybe we could use the social media for us to love again instead of sitting out there going support war or support big oil or support this president or support this senator. How about let's support loving each other? Let's support respecting each other. Let's support showing equality. Let's show on here visibly with the videos and talk about things and tell stories so we can do it. So we believe that everybody can be that way. I break my stereotype, you break your stereotype. It ain't just typing in a little box. It's a little bit more, ain't it? Looking somebody in the eye and saying, "Hey, I love you. You love me." I don't like a lot of your stuff, but we got a planet to save. We got kids to raise. We got good food to grow. We got clean water to find. We got a whole society. We got to change because everything's about to change because of the climate, and everything else. Got to take these politics out of it. So I kind of got caught up yesterday in like being a referee in all of this. And it was like I said, the subject matter was primarily Trump's wall, a good divisive subject, and one that's working really well, splitting us up even further and getting us more and more damn divided. So I'm like, so I was actually trying to be cool with it. And one particular argument there, like I said, there was about 8 of them going on at one time. And one particular argument, some really good sisters, they kind of got into it. And um, of course, if you like or hate Trump or you love or hate Trump, depending on whether you think the other person's stupid. So usually it gets down to you calling somebody stupid or a fool. Not no real kind of name calling, but questioning your intelligence. And then some people want to question the depth of your or how awake you are or your awareness or your enlightenment. Well, the thing is, the way I look at it is, now one good thing about social media, if you don't want to fight, don't comment. So a lot of things we could just walk by or just read, and I say walk by, but digitally walk by, virtually walk by. And you read somebody's comment or something and you don't like it, or you see a post they got and it's not on your side. Well, look at that person. In social media, you really can get rid of anybody anytime you want to. So that's not like they're bugging you. And but look at that person and see how many things you have in common. We can all find the little nitpicky things, the talking points, the things that we were taught to not like about each other. And we can always find them really quick. We're trained with these eyes to see all that stuff, the stereotypes, the skin color, the hair, the beard, the way somebody talks, the way they look, everything. We're taught to look at each other different. So we got to break that stereotype right there. We got too many things in common that are good. The reason the world is falling apart, the reason we're arguing with each other, those are the things. That's because we can't find the common bond in each other. And the social media should be helping with that. So that's why I put up serious things. That's why I put up very, um, I'll throw the white elephants up there butt naked for everybody to look at and talk to me about it and talk to each other. And that's what I love, because on the Facebook, it's a lot of people, and in YouTube, it used to be a lot more, but man, y'all really talk serious. And when you get to talking to each other, I just want you to remember that even though I turned my Facebook wall definitely over to We the People, and the YouTube channel never was anything for me, I do expect y'all to, talk to each other like you would talk to me. And if you're going to be rough, fine. If there's going to be tough love talk, fine. If you're going to discuss and not fuss over a real issue and not a talking point, fine. I let adults be adults. I don't go in here. Every one of y'all that know me well, no, I don't go in here and just take people out. Usually really win off. It's usually somebody that crossed the line. It's usually political or something that's been politicized, like the environment or big oil or something like that. And where I'm strong and I fight many things in the real world and out here in social media world, a lot of people don't agree with that. And they look, like I said, we all love each other on these main issues like the planet, our children. I'm going to keep repeating this so it stays in your head. The not having vaccines, to be able to live and let live. That's one of our biggest things we have a common love and interest on. And so we got to kind of know on that. So here we go. We got social media. It can be used for very good things. It can be used for mass communication. It can be used for mass education if we even thought about it in certain ways, and spend a portion of our time learning and instead of playing games and platform shit. But how do we get along on here better? How are we able to do that? Well, how are we able to bypass certain things and just let people be people, but yet still feel like we're being us too, and not letting somebody get away with something or certain lies or whatever. Well, this reminds me, my grandma told me an old story one time. I was raised in a house with 5 women. Now, y'all, I had 3 sisters and my mom and my grandma, and then y'all, they're typical women and good strong women, all of them. So they was all at that. Strong women means strong women battling each other all the time, and but always fussing and something going on. And so whenever I would try to talk to them or they get mad at me, boy, I was always wrong. I couldn't do nothing right. Excuse me, y'all. I couldn't do nothing right. And boy, I just get so frustrated. So my granny, like I've always told y'all, I'd ask her the serious questions about things. And I say, Granny, why can't I ever get a word in with you women? Why can't I ever be right? Y'all just, I have my hands on my hips. I was as mad as could be. And I said, why can't I ever have my say so? Why can't ever y'all just look at me one time and say, Billy, you right? She said, son, with a woman, there's 2 things you can be. You can be right or you can be happy. So you can be right or you can be happy with a woman. Well, as I went through my life, about every time I get into a fuss with a woman, I think that. And matter of fact, I've only been able to live that in my life since I met my Karen C, because I love her to death, and me being right is probably the worst thing I can be, trying to prove myself all the time or prove a point or something. Like all of us, we all have learned things, and we want to teach them, we want to know them, we want to talk about them. We think they're important to the world and saving our species and our kind. But man, when we're allies on so many things, isn't it funny how the only things we argue about are the things that can't be proven, and damn sure things that we can't do nothing about. We can't prove nothing about anybody's religion. You can't prove that this government isn't a setup to make you a tax slave. You can't prove that it's not that way. That's the way it sure is set up and running, and the paperwork and everything's in there for it. We can't do nothing about the wars over in the Middle East. We can't do nothing about what they're going to do with this wall. All we can do here is sit and bicker about things. Wow. I mean, if we just look at the the things that we actually do argue about, we can't do nothing about, or we can't prove, then why are we even talking about them? Why are we even talking about them? If we're arguing about them, especially if it's something from the past that's already been done, or something that we're living in now, say some of these laws and everything, we spend more time bitching about it. It's like we know what the problem is, and then we just bitch about it because we can't do nothing about it. We want to do something about it. That's good, but we can't. So we bicker about that. These lead into that, especially into the religious and the political realm. One can't be proven, and the other one we can't do nothing about. And I'm not going to bring up the voting, but just there you go. There you go for those who know what I'm saying. You can do all of that stuff, and we still bicker about it. It's never been changed into what anybody wants, and it's always blamed on the same illusionary belief that we vote in people and they take care of business. That's the political side. The religious side is something you never seen, never touched, never affected your life. It is all powerful and taking care of you, and you are servitude to both of these. You get it? You're the servant to both of these. You never once in your life, from your government or your God, from politics or religion, you're the little man. You're just the creation, and you got to do this, and you got to go by these rules that somebody else made for you. You can't just live your life, talk about the things that you want to talk about, like out here. So it's very important how all this works together, y'all, how we have to communicate, how we have to let certain conversations go. Be happy. You don't want to be right about it because you can't prove you're right about it. And I'm coming to this great awareness all of a sudden too right now. If I can't prove, and I've been doing this actually for a long while, to be honest with you, if I can't prove to you something, or if it's just going to be a side argument that's going to get away from my main, what I consider the most important thing, which is what they're doing to our atmosphere and what's happening with our planet naturally, with the evolution, the cycles, and the 12,000-year cycle coming around, along with a 4,000-year cycle, a 400-year cycle, and a 40-year cycle, all coming around at the same time. And we're going to witness this in history. And I think it's going to, all the other problems that we got, I think are going to be very small compared to this global world changing event, earth changing event. My bad, because the world's what we make and the earth is what we live on. This is going to be an earth changing event, and it will change our world. The things that are going to get us to a point to where that's not going to matter is the other thing I try to mostly prove or talk about, because I can prove it, and that's living every moment of your life being you, not being trapped in that matrix no more. It's fixing to collapse. Not being trapped in the lies of society. They were lies. Whatever we've been taught or we believe is our past, or how we've been treated, how can we do something right now, physically looking at each other in the eye and saying, hey, I love you, and man, them some fucked up shit them people did. What we gonna do? Where we gonna go? We ain't got much time, maybe, or maybe it's fixing to be really rough times. How do we take back what, how do we quit being slaves for people that are preparing for this? How do we? It's all through communication. Every bit of it is through communication. So I'll throw something real hard out here. I'll throw my opinion out here. Sometimes I like to release things, or sometimes I realize, like, how did we get so stupid as a nation that we're going to believe this? Or did people really forget that this just happened in the 70s or the 80s? Most of the history I like to bring up is what I've lived through. So you've lived through it. That's why I get a lot of people that resonate, because they're like, wow, man, I forgot about that. Or wow, that part's true. They have let so many things lay down that we could be talking about, that we could be remembering, parts of history that we should be nitpicking to death, and seeing where we're going to go and what not to do anymore. So next time that you're online and you see something controversial, which will probably be on my wall, first of all, take in mind who I am, a brother that loves you, and sure enough, full of lots of tough love and ready to open up some eyes, because I think that we're going to need our unity and brotherhood for hard times. Okay, if nothing else, a Great Depression is coming. Our dollar's about to collapse. So to get there, we got to be able to talk about certain things. We have to really be able to drop certain things. So I like that, even though my grandmama told me that about arguing with a woman. I think it's any of us can think about that little saying when we're arguing with anybody. You love that person. Does that person love you? Is everything cool? You got to take all that in consideration, not just that instant, what do I hate about that person? And say, hey, he just said something strange. Do I have to respond? Do I have to be right? Or do I just want to be happy and hang out with my buddy? Or I just want to be happy and hang out with the tribe. You can be right or you can be happy. There's a time to be right, but it's always a good time to be happy, y'all. Happiness really don't come a whole lot. Life is a roller coaster, and it's up and down, as we all know. But we can make things easier on ourselves, and we can stop things out here in this social media that are unnecessary and designed. The way we talk to each other comes almost exactly the way people talk to each other on the news channels, if you're talking about politics especially. And it sounds like you're talking the religion like you just watched Jimmy Swaggart or something. I don't know how to tell y'all. You sound like the TV sometimes. I hardly ever hear what anybody really feels. It's what Trump wants, or I support this guy, or I support this movement, or what do you want? What where you live and how you are and how you and me and you are, especially, or how you are with the people you're talking about. Is this even affecting your life, or is there anything you can do about it? If not, it's just a bunch of frustration. It's a bunch of good thought process going to nowhere. It's like digging holes in the Sahara Desert. They just gonna fill back up with sand. There's no sense in even being out there. There's those conversations are barren. They're fruitless. They go nowhere. They have no substance. Just wasting time, like the TV, like not talking, not communicating. I put it that way. If you was watching the TV and learning something, that's communication in a sense. We got to get back to communicating and talking to each other. And tough, but I don't believe in that political correct stuff, but I do believe in these two things: good manners, and that saying from my granny. You can be happy or you can be right. Is it a time to be right? Or listen, I'll give you one good example before I get off here and give y'all the rest of y'all's morning back. If you was watching the TV and Trump said something that made you mad, and you got and then somebody else came and sat down, and it's like, oh well, whatever. He says a lot of stuff, and then you turn around and you get mad at them. You're like, well, you don't believe what he said, or you think that's right, and you start fussing at that person. You just fell for the trap. You just fell for being right at the wrong time. Wait till you're in front of Trump before you say that shit. All right, there you go. Don't even say it to a trumpet or a supporter. Wait till you're in front of when you got a chance. So there you go. There's time and place for everything. We've taken the time and found the place with each one of us as brothers and sisters to fight each other instead of the argument. Whatever your argument is, it ain't even got nothing to do with that person. You're both arguing about your opinion, what somebody else thinks. You just wasted time. You could have been fixing up your county. You could have been fixing up your home. You could have been talking about lots and lots of things, prepping what you're going to do, what's your skills, what's your barter methods. You could be thinking about a lot of things right now besides building walls and everything else. We do need to discuss those, but fussing and discussing is two different things. All right, so think about that. You can be happy or you can be right. It's up to you. But listen, I don't got any rules. I don't live by rules. I'm a lawbreaker. But I tell you one thing. A lot of y'all out there, and I've said this before, you say you want people to treat you like you treat them. Well, I want to see that at least on what I've turned into a public forum for over 100,000 people. You got a right to go somewhere and say it, just like the People's Tribune, that you can write them and put your story out to them. Well, you can write here and put anything you want in my comments on my Facebook or my YouTube. And you can be tough. You can speak your mind. But visible outright attacks or just plain out ignorance, man, if you messed up, or if you really got to say something so bad, then just say it and say goodbye, because you're going to be gone, because there's just not enough time for that. And if we take it out and we shun people that do it, y'all, then maybe they'll stop, but you got to stop it inside of you first. Walk away from something, or just scroll away, I guess is a better term. Scroll away from stuff you don't like, and remember what you do like about that person. And if they put more out there that you don't like than you do like, then maybe you're out looking for trouble. Think about that. If you got people on there you got just to argue with, then maybe you're looking for trouble. And if you're looking for trouble, you ain't looking for solutions. And we need solutions right now, tribe. We need solutions. So think about that. I love you. Be happy or be right. It's up to you. But either way, don't live in fear. I love you. Peace.